One. Bam. Okay.
Woo!
Hello, everybody.
What's going on, everyone?
Welcome to Sunday night. Hopefully, everybody watched all these wonderful. No, they were crap. But seriously, hopefully, you watched the NBA games today. Happy to have everybody with us. We're gonna, of course, get into all the wonderful, wonderful stories of sports this past week, and have a little fun and a little back and forth, and talk a little bit of mess about each other, our teams, and maybe even your team. But if you do like what we've been doing, we suggest you go on and go ahead and click that subscribe button, click that like button. That'll be quite helpful. So B, what's up,
What
man?
up?
How you doing?
What up? Good, man. How are you?
Oh man, I'm just living the dream. I was so pumped to go to watch these games, Game 7, everything on the line, and well, it was crap. It's pretty bad.
Holy shit. I mean, the second game was absolute trash to say the least. But at least we got a decent first game up until the third quarter.
I mean, trash is almost an understatement, man. Like they were down by, I want to say 40, a little bit over 40 points through at a couple points through the game. I mean, this was an old fashioned beat down, and I want to know from you watching the game. I mean, what happened to the Suns, man? What was that?
I I thought the Suns were the team that just got out of the NBA Finals, not the Mavericks. I watched the Suns were just atrocious today. They couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat, and that's the entire fucking team.
Yeah, it was.
By halftime, their leading scorer had 7 points. Like Chris Paul did not show up, and there's an interesting thing. Um, do you? I wanted to ask you this because I was thinking about this on my way here. Do you think Chris Paul just maybe hitting his time now?
I think Chris Paul is one of those players that's played past his prime. And with guys like that, they only have a certain amount of bullets left, let's say, as far as being able to play at that high of a level. And I think he played so well towards the end of the previous series, to the point to where he was carrying that team whenever Devin Booker was out. And at this point in his career, you can't really ask him to do this anymore. And I think that's where he is right now. Is you can't ask him to carry the team. It's not possible. He can help run a team, but as far as him putting them on his back and making it work, it just wasn't going to happen. And I got to be honest, watching this game, this was really like a case of we thought we were good, but then we got punched in the face. And I think this happened to both teams, and we'll talk about Milwaukee a little bit later, where these teams felt like they had the experience, they felt like they had the veteran players, they felt like they had the better team all season, which in the case of the Phoenix Suns, they did. I mean, they won 64 games this year, but
Yeah,
you always hear that old saying, right? You never know what happens is going to happen in a game 7. In a one game scenario, anything can happen. And I felt like we watched the Suns have their worst game of the season at the worst possible time.
they couldn't have picked a worse time to have their worst game of the season. The Suns are the second team in NBA history to win 60 plus games and not make the NBA Finals. The other team was the team that beat them was the Dallas Mavericks. Doncic is good to be back.
Look a donkey.
Um, Luka Doncic,
Look at
but when you look at it, yeah, Luka went off, but Dinwiddie almost matched him point for point today.
yeah, right.
He had Dinwiddie had 20 in the first half, and Luka had 27, and I think that was the big difference was they got contribution from the bench side of things. With Dinwiddie going for 20 in the first half, it just dude, they were just making shots left and right,
It,
like
it was ridiculous. It was so
close.
ridiculous, man. I mean,
And you saw the Suns just trying to rush things. Like they didn't they didn't allow the game to just come to them. They looked like a team who's never played a game 7 before. They rushed all their shots. They couldn't get Aiden going. Booker couldn't even hit anything from 15 feet or less. Like it was a terrible display of shooting.
right.
Um, you know, we could talk about we'll be talking about the Warriors soon, but I honestly rather get whooped on the road and still have another game to play than get my ass whooped in my own home gym in a game 7 to go to the Western Conference Finals.
Well,
That's just how I look at it.
yeah, and I think what you were looking at was a team that was watching everything slip away, and that's why you saw the desperation in them trying to
Yeah,
force themselves back into the game, and it just snowballed on them. There was nothing they could do. I mean, I don't care who you are in a game like that where a team comes out that hot, starts hitting threes from all over the place, and you can't hit the water if you threw the ball out of a boat. It you're just gonna get whooped, and that's what it came down to. It was just unfortunate that they had a game like that at such an important time. I think as it overall going forward for the Suns, they are going to have to look at what to do with Chris Paul. I think he's been great for them during the regular season, but he has done nothing. He had a good postseason this year, but last postseason he was injured. This postseason he just couldn't carry them. DeAndre Ayton has been, in my opinion, not he's not nearly the player that he should be, and he should be a much more dominant player, especially against a Mavericks team that
has
plays.
no place.
Yeah, their tallest guy is 6'10". He's a
Yeah,
legitimate 7-footer, and so he's not a very dominant player. In order for them to be better, that guy's got to be way better next season. In order for them to get back to where they left off in the finals. And yeah, I think they should consider moving Chris Paul and finding another running mate. Either you take DeAndre Ayton and you trade him for a big name power forward, like a big cat or somebody like that, or you try to move Chris Paul and get younger. I mean, I don't, one way or the other.
you're gonna have to look at. Well, here I think you go get younger, but I think they're missing that veteran experience. Chris Paul
Yeah,
is a leader, but it's just him out there with a bunch of young guys there. I think Devin. This is the time for Devin Booker to take that next step to be a star player because he's a great player right now. He's just not that star player yet because he hasn't reached that potential yet.
right.
This would have been a perfect series for him to do it. Every superstar's biggest moment is when it comes to crunch time and what they do for their team. And this was the moment for him. It was game 7 at home, and he was nowhere to be found along with the rest of the Suns team.
Yeah.
And hats off to a Bay Area native, Jason Kidd,
Oh yeah,
to the
coach of the year.
conference final. And I guarantee you the Nets are like, we should have never let him go. He's, you know,
Right.
and it's not like he's doing it with a whole lot of talent. Really, look at the Mavericks team and give me some star players. Outside of Luka, name me a star player on the Mavericks.
They don't, man. They're doing it by committee, man. I mean, you got to look at what Luka's done as far as being a guy who can assist and put points on the board. He doesn't have the athleticism, but he has the size and the skill. And he's one of those dudes that, I mean, he can single-handedly go on a 10-0 run. He's that great of a player. And he's one of those players like, there's no answer for him on the opposite end. You don't have a defender you can put in front of him. And then, like you said, once these other guys start picking the ball up and knocking down shots, now you're gonna have an even tougher time defending Luka because he can pass it to Brunson for a couple of possessions to make plays. He can pass it out to 3-point shooters. He can give it to Dinwiddie. Guys are Finney Smith. I mean, guys are stepping up all over the place to knock down shots and contribute to this team. And credit Jason Kidd for the amount of defense that they played and the defensive intensity that they had throughout this game. Even though the Phoenix Suns missed shots, there was no one point in time where the Suns got back into this game. They had zero opportunity. And it's not just because they missed shots. It's because Dallas played incredible defense. They really put a lot of pressure on Booker to start the game and Paul. And it really looked to me like they came in with the game plan of, look, these two dudes is the only people that could beat us. Make sure they feel us. And that's what they did. And they forced anybody else on that team to make a play. And the Suns, unfortunately, don't have another bona fide star player that could take advantage of any mismatch. There was no mismatch for the Suns. They couldn't do anything. They just got their ass handed to them, man. It was bad.
There was a play in the game where Luka backed down Aiden and hit a turnaround 15-footer right over him.
Yeah.
At that point, when I saw that, I was like, this game's over. When they start doing that against your biggest player with ease, you guys are losing.
Yeah.
You guys aren't making shots. It was bad to watch. And now the Suns are going to go into the offseason going, what do we do with our point guard? And how
Yeah.
do we get over that? Because that's what they got to answer themselves now. Um, how do they get past a bad loss to end the season like this? To get blown out by 40
Yeah.
in game 7, like
Yeah.
that's gonna stick with them.
That's gonna sting
Uh,
for sure. So we got some folks coming through on the chat for us. Let's see who we got. We got
woo,
Saito. What's up, sports peeps? What's up?
what's up, Saito from Boston? We're gonna get to the Celtics very
Boston.
shortly here.
Oh man. A man.
Yeah,
Oh man. Boston fan.
this
Lord. Okay.
uh, CP3 curse. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
He may
Well,
be
C
the best point guard to not get a title.
CP3 is the best regular season point guard of all time.
Too bad you don't win
He's
championships in the
just not
regular
very good on postseason. So let's go to the next game, which has been a barn burner throughout the entire series. There have been some very good games and some extremely good play by a future Hall of Famer, Giannis Antetokounmpo. But in that third quarter, Celtics really turned it up a notch, and well, they put the Bucks away. So
They looked Warriors, man, in that third quarter. It was interesting.
man, it was we talked about this in the last show, and I pointed out a player, even though I only knew his last name, not his first, and that was Williams. That's Grant Williams. Okay, I called him Baby Draymond, and the reason I called him Baby Draymond is because they ask him to defend guys from the four all the way up, three, fours, and fives, and he does the spectacular job just doing all the dirty work. Now he doesn't do the offensive setup that Draymond does, but today he knocked down some shots, and so he really drilled he drilled some threes, got some rebounds, got some putbacks, and really has been a very sturdy defender against Giannis. Even though Giannis has gone off this entire series, he's really helped the Celtics stretch the floor. And I mean, you look at what Tatum did in the previous game, and you look at how they play, and you start to see the Celtics as a very scary team moving forward. The first reason is the same thing we talked about with the Mavericks, where the Mavericks have these other players who kind of are not necessarily no names, but you don't really know who they are, and one of those guys is stepping up every game. The Celtics are starting
Yeah,
to see that a lot too, except they have better players. Marcus Smart. Now you got Grant Williams, even the Time Lord, the other Williams with the dreads.
Horford, the
He,
legend
Al
himself.
Horford, right? Al Horford. I mean, they've had guys really step up and make plays at different times, and in my opinion, are the best defensive team um, going forward. In my opinion, next to Miami, them and Miami are probably the two better defensive teams that are left in this, in the NBA, in the playoffs. So I'm juiced for Tatum. I feel like we're watching the new. This was the whole theme for this playoffs was the young, new talented players making runs, getting moving up, and we're seeing that with young Luca, Tatum, Brown. We're seeing these guys start to really elevate themselves into the big picture NBA. Meaning, like 10 years from now, we'll be talking about these guys instead of just flash in the pan type stuff. So, kudos to
Yeah,
them dudes. Would you
I
would you see B?
I saw a Celtics team be resilient with through all of this here because losing Game 5 the way they did
Yeah, that was tough.
to let it get to Game 6 was tough. Watching Marcus Smart just look like Draymond out there for the rest of his games. It was tough because
Yeah,
they should have won that game. They were up big too,
yeah,
in that Game 5. This is no one really talks about this, but really look at it like this. At the end of the season, in the last game, Milwaukee decided to sit all of their stars and fold in.
they
That
did.
last game didn't matter to them, but it meant something to the Celtics. With the Celtics winning that game, gave them the number 2 seed, which
Right.
allowed them to host this game here.
At home.
And and that needs to be a discussion. If you're a Bucks fan, it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That last game should have meant you were only up. You were tied with the Celtics at that time.
Right.
That the home court means something as far as you could take it with you.
Right.
Look at the Warriors now. The Warriors stayed in that 3rd seed, and now they're hosting the Western Conference Finals because the top 2 teams are out.
Yeah.
And so Milwaukee made that mistake of not taking that last game serious. That should have been a serious game for them because they would have had Game 7 at home. Um, But when you look at what the Celtics did, it was a different player every night. You had Al Horford in game 4 go bananas, you know.
Right. Yep.
You had Jason Tatum in game 6, and then it was a collective effort. It was a collective effort tonight or today in game 7. And I think this is Tatum's moment here. This is where he is going to take that step. This is the same thing as Devin Booker had an opportunity. He had a chance to take a step and chose not to. Tatum willed that game in game
Yeah,
6.
he did. Yeah.
Like him and Giannis trade bucket for bucket in every different way, and Tatum got the best of him. And this is how well Giannis even played in this series. He is the first player in NBA history to go for 200 points, 100 rebounds, and 50. I think it was 50 blocks or 50 assists. It was a staggering number,
Probably assist.
and they still lost the series.
Yeah.
You know, and I think them not having Chris Middleton really hurt them too.
Yeah. No, you
You
can't
know,
overlook that.
he had a nice series. He had a very nice series, but when it came down to Middleton was their kind of go-to guy when they needed a bucket. Outside of that,
It's
outside of Giannis here, and it got to the point where you see Giannis shooting threes, and it's like, dude, stop. They're not stopping you from the paint. Just stick to that.
yeah.
That's how you get back into the game is when you can slow down the pace, and they didn't. And you see teams just starting to rush 3-pointers. It doesn't work like that. It just does not. You're not the Warriors. You are not the Warriors.
It doesn't, and it's just about getting high percentage shots and high percentage looks. So, yeah, kudos to the Celtics, man. Much as I hate to say it, um, they're moving on to play the Heat, and we'll see how that. We'll talk about matchups a little bit later, but before we even get to that, we get to talk about something. We're gonna definitely rag on this guy in the Miami and the Philadelphia 76ers series. So James Harden went for 0 points in the second half of that game 6. He's been up and down, but has for the most part been a no-show throughout the series. I've said this before, and we said this at the outset of this series, that one thing you can't really trust is how he's going to perform in the playoffs. And history shows that he is not a reliable playoff player. He's a great regular season guy, won scoring titles, but he's not capable of doing anything or carrying a team on his back in the playoffs. And I think we saw more proof of that this time. You saw the comments from Joel Embiid about he saying that he could have been more aggressive and this and that, and and by the way, I don't really like Embiid saying anything. I feel like he needs to be quiet. He's been a great player all season. But when it comes to your own teammates, the best thing you could say after a loss like that is, we got our butts kicked, we lost. It's time for us to move forward. We'll try again next season. Because
Yeah.
Miami punched Embiid in the face, literally and figuratively. He was getting elbowed, he was getting pushed, he was getting hit. They did a great job of being physical with the biggest player on the floor. And by the time the fourth quarter came, he was like a boxer who had taken 50 gut shots. He couldn't walk. And he didn't have any energy left. He was spent. And so this is another example of a guy who, as great as he is, he's not built for the long haul. I strongly believe that. And I just don't see a situation where either one of those players, honestly, I don't believe in them. I don't believe in Embiid. I don't believe in Harden. So kudos to the Heat for getting it done. Did even have Kyle Lowry. I mean, they, whatever. Just send them home.
That was one guy who was MIA was Lowry in this series, but I don't think
Yeah.
it really mattered here. I think, look, James Harden is James Harden. He's not a playoff guy. It's
Yeah.
clear. He does have these breakout games, but he's not consistent. Like, you're looking for a consistent superstar. I don't fault Embiid for saying what he said, because he's sitting there getting his ass kicked, and he doesn't have someone that's looking to help bail him out.
Well, B,
So
here's where I disagree with that. Just to point this out. I understand, like you're a primetime player. A guy next to you doesn't play very well. He just got on halfway through the season. You didn't get the production you wanted out of him. He's supposed to be a Hall of Famer, but you didn't see that this time. But Joel did this with Ben Simmons as well. Okay, they ran Jimmy Butler out of town. Okay, we've seen this show before. Like they paired guys with Embiid before. Okay, so this is the first go around. He's had Jimmy Butler. He's had Ben Simmons. That didn't work out. Okay, whatever. We're gonna bring in James Harden. We don't know if this is gonna work out. And B needs to be quiet. Okay, because at the end of the day, he's the star of that team. He's the straw that stirs the drink. So if he wants to be a leader in that locker room, he needs to be the one to be able to talk to Harden, motivate Harden, and push Harden. If he's not capable of doing that, then shut up. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
agree.
just like, come on
But
now.
like, but like Shaq said, when when Shaq was going through his prime, he had someone to bail him out
Yeah,
when he needed it. But Embiid didn't get that in this series, and they went two games without him. Obviously, they got their asses handed to them the first two. They come back, they get him back in game 3 and 4. Now they're making a series out of it, and then it just fell right back apart right after that.
yeah,
Um, I you know, yeah, Maxey had a great first round, but the kid's young.
yeah.
Like he
He's
he
not
showed
there yet. Yeah,
he's not there yet. I think he can get there. He's
yeah,
going to be a asset for Embiid, but he's right. The 76ers didn't get the James Harden of the Houston days. They got James Harden as I don't even know what to categorize him as. It was just bad, and you know, just watching him settle for just bad shots after bad shot. It's like he's a guy who can create his own shot and get into the lane.
yeah,
When it's not falling for you, he's known for getting to the free throw line, and it was not known. It was not seen after that.
yeah.
So it's just tough that Embiid has now had he's gone. I bet you he really wish he had Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler made comments going, "You signed Tobias Harris over me," and he's right. Jimmy
Yeah,
Butler's he's rough around the edges, but I'll take that guy because he's going to give you everything, and he shows up and he shows out. Look what he's done for the
absolutely.
Heat since he's been there. They've been to the NBA Finals in the bubble. They're back in the Eastern Conference Finals again, and I give credit to Jimmy Butler for creating that, and that's what Embiid's been looking for. And they took it away from him by signing Tobias Harris, who's not even a starter on this team.
Not anymore.
The bench.
Yeah, and
It,
in all honesty, they have enough talent on their team where they should be able to figure this out. And I think that's where Doc Rivers is going to have to put in some work. I mean, you got Tobias Harris, you got Maxey, you got Harden, you got Embiid. You need to figure out a way to get this team to the next level. So we'll see how it
yeah.
goes. I just don't see any leaders on that team. B. That's my problem. That's my
No,
problem.
that
I don't see
you're
any
100%.
leaders.
You're 100%
So
right, and that leader needs to be Embiid. He just needs to figure out on how to do it. It is not easy to be a leader on a team, and when you haven't figured it out,
yeah,
you're stuck in a bad position here because he's called out Ben Simmons and look at that relationship on how it went.
yeah, but
He's
that's
called
media. That's media. That's media. See, real leaders don't need
yeah,
to do that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this before. One of my favorite players, Kobe Bryant. Right? Kobe Bryant is the worst leader you can have. Why? Because he's gonna be in your face all the time. He's gonna be like, "You suck. You need to be better. You suck. You need to be better." He's not gonna go to the press and say. Anytime Kobe stepped up to a mic, he's not talking about one individual player. It's always we suck. If we lost, we suck. Because as a leader, you take that on. If I'm the leader of the team, anything the team does is on my back. If I'm taking them off my back and I'm putting them over here and I'm saying that guy was bad, I'm not a leader. I'm not because I'm not taking responsibility for the team as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So from my perspective, there are no leaders on that team. And Embiid is not the dude yet. Maybe he'll turn into that, but he's not that guy right now. And until they get a guy that says, "This is my team, I'ma carry him, I'ma get in guys' butts, I'ma tell them, hey, until you see some of that come from him, they're not gonna win a championship. They're not going very far.
He just has to be better at doing it. I think going into the media and making these comments um, is one thing. I think talking to his teammates face to face and just laying it out
Yeah.
is another thing. So, it's the leadership who their off season will be very interesting if they
Huh.
bring James Harden back, and if they
Oh yeah.
do, they'll have a full season together. So who knows if things change here? Real quickly, Saito just lighten up the
I
chat.
know,
Thank
right?
thank you so much for that. There, just calling out James Harden a role player.
Role player.
Might be better if they named the bench after him. Just oh
Oh
man,
man.
that is true. But you know, let's when we talk about leadership, we're going to talk about this next series. Um, with leadership, and that was the Warriors and the Grizzlies here. And look, it wasn't pretty in Game 5. I was hoping that they would close the series out, but then let's be honest, when a team is with their backs against the wall and got nothing to lose for, and this is their last home game being played, um, I wasn't expecting a 50-point blowout, but I mean,
Yeah,
ask
they fought back more or
the
less.
ask the Suns how that went at home. But you know, it, it's not going to be pretty 90% of the time in the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's not. It just isn't. And Game 6, I think, got very slow for the Warriors. Look, as a Warrior fan, I'm used to these turnovers. It comes with the territory of being a Warriors fan. It's just normal. You got to expect it. They want to get up. They want to get up and down the court. But I'm telling you, some of these passes that were taking place, holy shit, they were terrible. But I'm not
man.
getting upset
Yeah,
because that's what they want to get up and down the court here. At the end of the day, they pulled it out, and they had an amazing fourth quarter. Game 6, Clay was off the charts.
yeah,
Um, you know, but the biggest shout out to that game was Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney had 22 boards, and I love what he said in the post game that when they bullied him in Game 5, he took it personal.
hmm
And for a team that's not known for being big in the middle, they had a center take it personal. I mean, the guy played 82 games, and and he's still playing. He's still playing his ass off with 22 rebounds. There was a point in the game where they missed like three threes in a row, and Looney grabbed all three and finally got it to Clay to put the dagger in
yeah.
the
That's
Grizzlies.
right.
And you could see Looney's face like, could someone make a fucking shot,
Yeah,
please?
it
Someone just hit a
it was
three.
rough, man. It was rough,
And
man. I mean,
it was good.
I knew the Warriors had this that they would get to this, and it took 6 games for them to get it done. The Warriors are a team that maybe as an older team is sort of looking ahead because John Morant was out. I think they came
Yeah,
into that game thinking that they had the leg up and that they would just be able to come in there and just blow them out. And that mentality led them to a situation where they really tried to make the perfect play instead of just the correct play. And that's why you
yeah.
saw a lot of turnovers, silly mistakes with the ball, easy passes that guys can normally make, or just stupid cross court one handed. Tell Curry to stop doing that. Don't throw passes cross court with one hand. You are not Magic Johnson. Okay,
So
stop that. Stop it. Shoot the ball. Okay, that's your job. We know you can make passes, but you don't have to. Okay, and certainly not like that. So, they just made some silly mistakes with the ball along the way. They didn't really. I can't say that they really rectified that in the next game. They just made more shots at the end of the game in order to win the game against a underhanded, Memphis Grizzlies team. So, kudos to them for getting it done. It wasn't pretty, but when you win a series and you close the team out, it doesn't matter. It's all about moving on to the next series.
they're halfway there. Like, I hate that the fact that this team gets put under the microscope that they get put under. Real quick before I go deep into that, we got a new guy in our chat, the Josh, my old roommate out in Hawaii.
The
Welcome to the
Josh
appreciate it, Dub
Screaming
champs,
Warriors,
hoping for it.
Dubs
But
champs.
look,
Oh wait, did
at the
Saito kiss James Harden? He kissed me off in
no,
Houston.
oh
Whoa,
no,
whoa!
I hope it's pissed him off in Houston. Hope it pissed him off. I saw him correct himself. I hope that shit was pissed. But at the
Oh
what
man.
you got to realize is some wins aren't going to be pretty. The Warriors. I mean, look, Dylan Brooks had 30 points in that game, and he hadn't done shit all series.
True that.
Like,
Yeah.
the Grizzlies got contributions from the randomest people at the randomest time, and it almost beat the Warriors. Like, Dylan Brooks had a really was having a good game. He just dude, that's a jumper that
He
should never
took
be shot.
that. He took that ugly jumper to a whole new level, man. Like I can't even get my hand in the camera, but his jumper ends like Hell Hitler or something. It's terrible. He's just it's. There's no gooseneck or anything. It's just his hand just goes straight up like he's trying to answer a question in school, and I don't understand why he shoots like that. Like that thing is just
That's
whack.
terrible.
So you
100.
know it's just terrible. But kudos to your guy because I hated on him, and he had one terrible game, but he showed up at Game 6, and that's Andrew Wiggins. Make sure you give him some props. He
Oh,
he he
series.
he
But
was
no one.
horrible, and he was not very good in the previous game, which none of the Warriors were. So I'm not gonna pick him out for that. They all
But
sucked, but he showed up big. Memphis left him open because they felt he wouldn't make shots, and he made the shots.
my Godfather, Doug Hughes, thank you for tuning in. The Warriors look bored. Of course, they're going to look bored. That's the one thing the Warriors like to do is they like to turn it on when they feel like they need to turn it on. Sometimes it can bite them in the ass so bad that they can't come back.
Yeah,
But for the most part, they're right. When they
and
want to turn it on, they'll blitz you in a heartbeat here. But
yeah, and we're gonna talk about the next matchup, but you know, I'll preface it by saying stop celebrating every three. Game's not over yet. Okay, stop celebrating every three.
it's game over. Okay,
It's not over yet. I mean, they did so much of that. I was
now.
like, okay, y'all, come on, stop. I mean, it was like 5 times during that game where they made 2 threes. You know, everybody dancing and stuff, and then Memphis comes back and cuts it to 1 2 minutes later. It's like, okay, guys, I get it.
Celebration was
Yeah, I get it. You're happy. You made it 3. I get it. But please, just keep playing. Like, you know, because Memphis kept putting pressure on them. And I feel like, you know, that determination, that focus has to be throughout the entire game. And, you know, the Warriors do that, man. They like to celebrate, and there's no problem with that. But, you know, once we start getting up in these series, there will be less smiles, okay, as we go through as we get deeper into the playoffs. So you got to be able to sustain that run, and that's what you want to see is sustained runs by the Golden State Warriors because that's where they're most successful. Not just 1 or 2 threes. We're happy. Other team cuts into the league, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh shit. Let me try to figure out. Well, let me do this again. So anyway.
Well, speaking of next series, we've got the conference finals here. Prediction time. You want to go West or East first?
So I'm gonna do a slight preview, then prediction after. I will start with the Eastern Conference Finals with the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. I think this is going to be a old school 1995 defensive struggle. I'm gonna love this game.
Into that paint, I'll tell you that someone's getting hit going down.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be all kind of technicals. Oh yeah, flagrant ones. Oh, it's happening. It's elbows. Oh, it's happening. So I'm really looking forward to this.
The 80s. Take it back to the 80s. And Milwaukee Celtics series was fun, but I think this gets juicier with this here. So
yeah, I'm pumped because I really like to watch defensive teams play because of how intense the game becomes, how it puts so much more importance on each shot that's made. And I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see 2 teams going at it on the defensive end. We're going to see Marcus Smart flopping off of Jimmy Butler like somebody shot him from the guy. He got sniped from the 3rd row. You know, it's going to be great, man. It's going to be physical. It's going to be contested. It's going to be a really, really good series. So I'm going to pick the Celtics in 7. I think this is going to go 7. I think the only difference here, and I'm going to explain why. I'm a Laker fan. I do not like the Celtics, so if I'm picking them, that means I have a reason for it. The reason is, as good as Miami is, they don't have the offensive punch that Boston does. I like Siakam. I like no, not Siakam. Lord, that's the Raptors. I like Bam. I like Bam Adebayo. You know, I like Jimmy Butler. But Jimmy is not a guy that can take you 30 point. He's never been a player like that. His best seasons, he averages in the low 20s at best. So he's not that guy. He can get you a really good game here and there, but he's just not a guy that can carry and put up 30 a night. So on the opposite end, between Jaylen Brown and Tatum, one of those guys can actually do that for you. And also, when you look at some of the other around the other players that are on that team, as far as their role players, I feel like they have a slightly better set of role players. Although the Heat, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, they have some good players too. But I just really like what the Celtics bring to the table defensively, and they have more two-way players in my opinion. So that's so I'm picking the Celtics in 7.
How did that feel coming out of your mouth as a
As
Lakers
long
fan?
as they don't win number 18, whoever they play in the finals, they lose to. Okay, they just can't win number 18. That's all. That's
I
all.
have the Celtics. I have the Celtics in 6. I think they'll finish it out at home. I don't think this will go Game 7. I think what you're getting out of Al Horford is gonna really be big for them to clog that paint. I like you said, I just don't think Jimmy Butler's gonna have a consistent series here. What you're getting from Tatum now is the start. I think he will ultimately be the biggest factor for them, as he should be. But you can't really bypass a team that's got the defensive player of the year, and they're going to put him on. That's going to be a fun matchup. Butler and Marcus
Oh
Smart.
yeah.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's
That
gonna
is
be
going to
good,
be
man.
some fun. Some guys that will that don't back down from anything.
No.
They really don't, and that's good. I think those two are going to have a fun series guarding each other here. Saito, Celtics will win when Larry Bird returns to the team, gets off his wheelchair in time to sink a three with time running out. Or is that a Fantasy Twilight episode?
No,
Um,
it almost happened. Actually, Paul Pierce did it.
yeah, that's right. Paul Pierce was his own
he was
sport.
he was carried off on a wheelchair, came back. Yeah, yeah. So he did that. Paul Pierce did that. I
Chat
was like,
Celtics and Heat. Who do you have? How many games? Let us know in the chat comment here. But let's move to the Western Conference Finals here.
oh, here we go. Here
This
we
is
go.
a very good matchup here. It's going to be when you look at it, Luka versus Steph. It's going to be Luka versus the Warriors because the Warriors are going to do what they did with this what they did with Denver is they're gonna let Luka do his thing. Can Dinwiddie can that backup crew sustain what they did against the Suns?
Right.
That's going to be the ultimate matchup there. And I'm a homer, so of course I'm going with my Warriors here.
right.
Uh, but I think you have Klay Thompson, who with this Game 6 really gave him a lot of confidence here. Who I really need to step up though is Jordan Poole. You were absent in the last 3 games, and it's growing pains. It's growing pains with him, but this is the time now. You want to take that next step with this team, come off the bench and give us what you've been doing all year. I'm not going to criticize him because he's young and this is his first time in this deep playoffs. But this is how you sustain championship quality here. Is you bring the same energy here into this year. I think him and Wiggins will be the factors for the Warriors in this series
It's your
here.
boy.
In my Wiggins is my boy, man. I love Wiggins. I'll
Man.
here. We may not see it. I have the Warriors in 5.
Warriors in 5. Wow, that's very aggressive. So, the assumption here is that the Warriors are going to play better than they have the past 2 games. That's number one, okay? Because their past 2 games have not been very good. They have to kind of play at a higher level against this team because this team is playing with house money. This is not a team that has all these super duper championship aspirations. They don't have some magical big three on their team that feels that they have to protect their pride or legacy. They're just out there balling out and having fun doing it. Of course, you got Luka Doncic out there handling doing his business. But I think what the Warriors have to be wary of is they need to make sure they can keep guys out of the paint. I think that's going to be a big thing for them in this series. The Warriors historically play small, and I don't see that changing that much in this series because Dallas plays small. So they're going to have to find ways to defend the paint. They're going to have to make sure that they're doing the correct things whenever switching, if they're going to switch off on Luka. Because ultimately what's going to end up happening is Luka's going to be picking on all your guards. I promise you. So what they do is they're gonna run the guard up to set a screen for the Luka's original defender to draw that second guy in. So that's gonna be Steph Curry, that's gonna be Jordan Poole, that might even be Klay Thompson. Those guys are gonna have to defend and try to find a way to keep Luka out of the paint. So that's gonna be the biggest thing for the Warriors. If they can keep Luka out of the paint and really bother and collapse on him enough to where he doesn't want to go in there and start settling for jumpers and three-pointers, I think it's going to be a better series overall for the Warriors, and maybe they do have an opportunity to win in 5. But if you start seeing Luka go to the free throw line a lot, and you start getting Steph Curry out there on Luka more than a few times, that's gonna that's gonna create a bad situations for the Warriors on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I think Draymond is a guy that can body up with Luka in the paint, but even if he is with him, the Dallas is for sure going to try to create a mismatch with Luka, and Luka's everything. Luka assists. Luka does it. So you got the full main point is to try to make sure you can contain him, so that other people don't go off. Because if he gets going, he's the leader. He's the star. He's the star that stirs the drink. He gets going,
Yep.
the rest of the players get going. That's leadership. Okay. He when he's good, they good. It ain't just he good and everybody else suck. So he's the main focus for the Warriors. I think the Warriors have enough firepower. I don't think you can trust Dallas's other players for an entire series. So I think the Warriors do end up winning this series. As much as I would love to pick against your Warriors, I have to go with logic here. However, I do think it's going to get to 6 games. So I think the Warriors win in 6 games.
So they close it out on the road in Dallas in 6 games here.
Yeah, I think,
All
yeah.
right. We've got Doug Hughes going with the Celtics in 6, Warriors in 5. Everyone, drop your comment. Let us know what you think. Now that you know what our predictions are, let's hear your predictions here. So we're all gearing up for the Celtic Warriors NBA Finals. I think that would be some fun finals there. But
Oh, yeah.
let's talk about the MVP, Josh, because we had a pretty good discussion about that. The Joker winning his second MVP title over Embiid. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I think Embiid was the more consistent player all year. Um, I felt like this was his year. I think he deserved that MVP title more than anyone in that race there. So, with that being said, now we've had 4 MVP over the years that are not guard related. They're the big boys. So,
Yeah.
um, how do you had Jokic, I believe.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you had Jokic winning that MVP here. Is it validated at this point in the year to say that yeah he was this year's MVP?
Yeah, so I think the only reason they gave it to Jokic is because of what was going on around him, and that doesn't really. I don't know if that makes sense to make that a part of the MVP discussion or conversation, but I think that's what was taken into consideration. The fact that they didn't have Jamal Murray for pretty much the entire season. They lost Kevin Porter Jr. He was the other guy that was supposed to be. He's gone. So ideally, your 2 and 3 guys are completely out of the picture. Yet that team, he was able to still carry that team to I believe they were a 4th seed, if I'm not mistaken. So he kind of deserved, in my opinion, deserved it because of that. Now, it's tough to give guys multiple MVPs, especially in today's age. Back in the day, it was easy. Guy was a great player. They went far in the playoffs or won a championship. He handed them the MVP like Jordan. You just kept handing the MVP, and off it goes, right? Same thing with
Pretty much.
Magic, Bird. Those guys can win back to backs because they were winning championships. They were always in the discussion, so they just handed off. Now things have changed a little
Yeah.
bit. They don't like handing out back to back MVPs. They don't like handing out to guys over and over again. That's why LeBron doesn't have 15. They hand it out to guys that they feel are, whoever they feel, I guess, had to pull a heavier load, I guess we'll say, through that season. So I think Jokic deserved it. I think Embiid had a very fair argument to win it as well. Even Giannis, who was also on that list. So any of those guys could have won it.
Yeah.
I think maybe they looked at the playoffs a little bit, but I think the injuries that the Nuggets sustained are why, or what pushed Jokic over the edge is being the MVP.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe next year with the full Harden, I think Embiid's gonna come back more. He's improved every single year, time in and
Yeah,
time
he
out.
has. Put the
He's
burgers
getting.
down.
Oh, you still hate him for that, man. This is
He ate
hilarious
a
here. So
cheeseburger on the sideline. What do you want me to do, man? I'm gonna.
congrats to the Joker. You enjoyed your first round participation with the Warriors, but congrats on the MVP. Did you see how he got it? He was riding the Joker's a 7-foot guy riding a horse and comes in getting the MVP award. Like,
Yeah, man. He
get
was. What?
out of here.
First off,
Oh,
that's a strong horse. Let's start there. Strong horse,
My
very
God,
strong horse. Um,
sight. Just glad it wasn't Harding. Harding's never winning an MVP. Like he had his moment in
yeah,
Houston, and
it's
that was
over.
it.
Yeah, it's completely over. That's going.
Right.
That's out the
So
window.
just as everyone sees it, I don't know if you can see it. Damn, the fucking camera's blurry.
You're light.
But here we go. There's Taj Mahal.
Okay.
Basically, was two out of four. I was 2 out of 4 as well.
Fifty
So
percent.
we were 50% from our picks here from last week. So good on that. Can't get any better than this. We only got two teams to pick from going forward here.
There you
So
go.
uh, let's talk about the Nets real quick. You know how much I love talking about that fucking train wreck of a team over there.
Yeah.
Um,
Anything to take your eyes off the Lakers, that works for me.
yeah, that other train wreck.
Yeah.
Um, Kyrie's probably finding his way out of the Nets, and I love it. The Nets GM comes out and says we're looking for
I saw that. Yeah.
a selfless player or something like that there. And
Whatever that
I
means.
mean, couldn't have directed that any more towards Kyrie Irving for everything he went through here. I'm gonna outline some things here that just was just atrocious for them. He didn't get a vaccine shot. His body, his choice. It is what it is. He's not allowed to play home games. He didn't want to do it for the team. He did it for himself, and that's fine. You made that choice there. But you left two players that you convinced to come here by themselves. At that point, they were by themselves for a while because Harden was hurt, and then KD got hurt. So it was
Right.
kind of back and forth. Um, it's just a toxic relationship. Ever since he left Cleveland, it's been toxic.
Right.
He said he was going to re-sign the contract with the Nets in the offseason here. Remember the last time he said that? He was in a
Yep.
Celtics uniform
That's right.
at an open gym and said, I'm coming back for a while. And everyone threw their hands up in the air. They were excited. They finally got themselves a point guard. What happens? He's gone the next year. He's going to be gone this year too, folks. He's not coming back. Dry. And this is where I wish KD would have stayed with the Warriors.
Yeah.
I, Josh, we're talking about the pros. We're not talking about college just yet, brother. UCLA could go fucking into a dumpster fire for all I care. They're never winning anything in their lives. Sorry, that was he knows how to ruffle my feathers with that one there. But getting back on track here, this is how I know that he's toxic because Nike is no longer going to be one of his sponsors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's had this issue where people start to distance themselves from him because of some of his views and some of the things he says and some of his actions. I don't know if you remember during the season. I believe it was this past season where he kind of disappeared for a few days or a few weeks. Or no, that was last year. Excuse me. Where he disappeared for a while and he's supposed to be injured, but then he shows up at a birthday party, and Kyrie's always going to sort of have this sort of circus that comes along with him and whatever team he plays on. So I don't know if he'll come back or not. I know he and KD are really close, and I think them being good friends might bring Kyrie back. But in my opinion, that doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, Ben Simmons is a no-show, and that trade didn't do anything for them. They need to go back and figure out what they want to do with that contract. In my opinion, I think Ben Simmons is the one that's more likely to get traded or pushed than Kyrie Irving, and to try to fortify the rest of the Nets roster. If Kyrie does decide to go, hey, he could rejoin LeBron in LA. We'll take him in with open arms. We'd love to have a shooter on our team because we don't have shooters. We have no one that can shoot. No one.
How about
No one.
this? How about this for a reunion? I think this would be a fair trade. You're gonna send Russell Westbrook to Brooklyn in exchange for KD, or no, not KD.
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Yep.
We're gonna have it's gonna be a reunion on the East Coast and on the West Coast.
That's right.
Oh man, how that would look here.
It ain't happening. I'm just making stuff up. It ain't happening. But it is fun to think about.
We've seen a lot of weird stuff happen in the NBA.
That's true.
And watch James Harden goes, oh, let's get the band back together back in Brooklyn. Watch him go back to Brooklyn if that was to happen. That'd be funny.
Yeah, get him back to yeah. More than likely he'll get traded somewhere else in some weird 3-team shenanigans that to some team that's trying to get rid of contracts or something and needs to dump salary. I mean, that's what's going to end up happening with Russell at this point. So bon voyage. That's all I got to say. get at it, LA, please. Um, but going forward, looking at what we've seen from these teams in the East, even if the Nets do come back with Kyrie and KD, I really don't see them. I really don't see them doing much in the East. I really don't. So we.
Kyrie has been a different player since LeBron stopped sending him Christmas cards.
Yep. Yep. We stopped sending him cranberry Sprite. That's what it was.
God, that drink is nasty, man. You know
Oh,
what?
whose idea was
If
that?
my sister's watching this, the next Sprite challenge we do will be with that cranberry Sprite.
Good luck finding
Talk
it.
about some spiciness. Oh, only during the holidays. This is gonna be the holidays.
There you go. Thanksgiving.
Let's transition sports here because the NFL once again dominates the news lines in another week, releasing the schedule. And we're gonna start with your team first, Taj Mahal.
The Las Vegas
Raiders here that have so much going on for them, yet they have potential this year in a very, very competitive AFC West, as I see it being the best division in football here. As you look at the schedule here, Taj, how do you see your team coming out the gates and obviously ending here?
Well,
we won't talk about the Niners. I can't wait to talk about that schedule.
Well, I'll kind of group it in. I'll kind of group it in groups of 6 games. We'll kind of see what we're looking at here. I mean, the Raiders start off with a pretty tough game against the Chargers, who are actually a pretty good team, and we're neck and neck with the Raiders. And it came down to really the last game of the season against the Chargers for the Raiders to even make it into the playoffs. So that's going to be good. Then the Cardinals, the Titans, the Broncos. The first 4 games I think are going to be extremely tough. Chargers, Cardinals, Titans, Broncos. They follow that up with the Chiefs and then the Texans. So there's only one soft team in there I see, and that's maybe the Texans. So the Raiders.
Hey, do not sleep on the Texans, okay?
Yeah, well,
Davis Mills showed a lot that nobody was expecting there. I give them a fighting chance against the Raiders here.
I give them a fighting chance, but looking at those other teams, that's where the win is going to be. So, I mean, those first 6 games, my hope for the Raiders is that they come out at least 3-3. You're playing some pretty good teams. You're playing a Cardinals team that had a ferocious end to their season last year, and so they'll probably be looking to start off on a good foot. The Chargers are nothing to play with. Russell Wilson is with the Broncos now, so it remains to be seen how good that team will be. But that's a team that the Raiders can beat. The Titans are not to be toyed with, and the Chiefs obviously are good. I mean, a lot of these games are going to be toss-ups, but I think the Raiders can come out 3-3 in that first 6 games. I'll be happy with that. Now after that, they get the Jaguars, the Colts, the Broncos, the Seahawks, and the Chargers again. So
That's a stretch.
Seahawks,
That's a stretch.
Saints. We could beat those guys. Seahawks, we could beat them. Colts might be a hard out, but I think we can get those. We're playing them at home. And the Chargers and Broncos. Any team we're playing in our own division is going to be difficult. But I think we can, those next few games, I think we can have a winning record and maybe lose one of those next 4 or 5 games. And then we got the Rams, the Patriots, the Steelers, and the 49ers. This gets better, man.
That is a hell of a stretch. The Rams, the Patriots,
the Steelers. We could get the Steelers. Is Ben Roethlisberger dead yet? Is he still? He's not going to come out of retirement and start playing, is he?
No,
he's
I
dead.
don't think
Okay.
so. But I don't even know if anyone knows who the Steelers starting quarterback is. Let us know here.
Could be me. Who knows?
That's a right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Steelers quarterback. Whoever the Steelers quarterback is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But how did the Raiders get 3 straight primetime games? December 8th is a 5:15 game. December 18th against the Patriots is a 5:20.
Let's do it.
And then the game Steelers is 5:15.
Let's do it.
What the?
Hey, man, we weren't on TV that much last year.
Your team better be good for them to be shown 3
Hey,
straight
hold
weeks.
on, wait a minute. Now the Raiders, the Raiders went to England and in Mexico almost every year for the past 5 years. Okay,
That doesn't mean you
we
get
deserve a
3
break. We should be on national TV and be in our own stadium and not out in Timbuktu somewhere. So I think I'm happy that they're on TV more. They deserve it. Derek Carr is a good quarterback. We got Devontae Adams. We got a team that people are gonna want to see play. We're gonna score touchdowns, okay? And we're not gonna hand the ball off 20 times because John Gruden's not coaching us anymore. So, you know,
Let's talk about this Thursday game real quick. January 1st, the Niners and Raiders playing the day after New Year's Eve or New Year's Eve. And man, talk about the
Mitchell Trubisky is the starter for the Steelers. Doug, thank you for that. Wow. Mitchell Trubisky. Wow. I mean,
man, he got ran out of Chicago. He's not going to be the answer in
I
Pittsburgh.
mean, he's got to be the stiffest 6'5". I mean, come on. Really?
Although the Steelers did get the rookie out of their own home college, which is Pitt. He wears 2 gloves while he throws. I can't even. He fake slid. He tried to do a fake kneel down or fake slide in a bowl game, and then ended up scoring a touchdown. And now they banned that fucking rule. So,
all right,
where do you see your team finishing this year?
I think we'll finish. It's 17 games, so I had to think about that. I think I'm gonna be aggressive with it. I think we go. No, that's not really aggressive. I think we'll go 11-6. So 11-6.
In that division.
Just shut up, Brian. Shut up, B.
I
mean, come on, man.
I'm just saying.
Shit.
11-6.
Give me something.
11-6.
You heard it here first, folks. 11-6.
Pickett. Oh yeah, Pickett is the rookie out of Pitt.
Well, good luck to him.
Yeah. All right.
And then, what about your team, B? I mean, we've talked about the Raiders.
Well, if anyone comes off my team was riddled with ACL injuries even before the season started. And, I mean, they went 4-0, or no, they were like 8-0, 8-2 to begin the season, and then lost every single game after that there. And boy, they look fucking bad.
Yeah.
But looking at this season here, obviously we get an easy victory. Doug agreeing 11-6 with you.
That's right.
We get an easy win. The Ravens start off with the Jets to begin the season, so we'll take that dub quickly.
Really?
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I know you're about to do. You about to list off the most cupcake ass schedule compared to what I just went through. Go ahead. Jets.
Start off with. I'm just saying.
Who's next?
That's not the Ravens' fault. They get the Dolphins, but they get the Dolphins early in the season, not late in the season. We all know how good the Dolphins are.
That's right.
So I'll chalk up that dub next, but this is where the season gets really, really tough here. Their next 3 games after that are the Patriots, the Bills, and the Bengals.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they go. In my honesty, they go 1-2 in that.
Yeah, you guys beat the Patriots
in that stretch. We'll beat the Patriots, but damn, the Bills and Bengals are still a good team.
Yeah.
Then they get the Giants, so we'll take victories over the Giants, the Browns.
Another crap team. Browns. Wow.
The Buccaneers. That's a loss.
You might not win that one.
We'll take a Saints, Panthers, Jaguars, Broncos, Steelers victory, Falcons. I think my team will end up with one more win than you guys. I think the Ravens go 12-5.
Yeah, because they're playing bags of chips and soda cans. That's why.
Don't be jealous, man. Don't be jealous. We're having a breakout season. That's how I'm looking at it.
The Browns and come on, man. Playing the Browns and the Steelers over and over and over again.
I cannot wait to talk about this right here. I've been itching to just really lay into the schedule here. But let's talk about the team that could not trade their quarterback and has a wide receiver.
Oh man, you go. Okay, hold on. See, I didn't look at the Niners schedule. Now I gotta look now. Here we go.
Because there'll be a whole bunch of L's on that schedule here.
Is there now?
They're losing all their preseason games. I'm going out with saying that there.
They're losing all their
all their preseason games. All of them.
Okay. Preseason.
But they start off with the Bears.
That's a winnable game.
Yeah, it's winnable.
I mean, come on, Brian. They can beat the Bears.
You know what? They find a way to lose to the Seahawks. They just find a way. So let's see. They're 1-1 here.
They're not gonna lose to the Seahawks.
Watch, watch.
Really? Come
Why?
on, man. I feel some animosity. Like, come on.
Animosity. Look, dude, like I said before, it just makes me happy because
Oh my gosh.
they try to run a quarterback out of town, and guess what, folks? He's still here,
Yeah, girl,
and he's
grab
gonna be on the roster come training camp.
with
Um,
with Subway, the new Italian Subway sandwich. Don't forget
he
that.
is, he is the spokesman for an Italian sub. Um, let's see here.
So we got the Broncos.
They'll lose. They'll start the season 1-2,
Oh,
1-3 because they got the Rams right after that.
Rams. Yeah, that's a
Uh,
loss.
2-4 against the Panthers. Three
They
and
could beat
four.
the They'll beat the Falcons. They'll beat the
They'll go
Falcons.
3-4, and then they get their ass kicked by the
Man,
Chiefs, so they're
Chiefs.
3-5.
The Rams again. Ow. Okay.
6, 3-7.
Chargers, Cardinals.
They're 4-7 after that. 5-7 after that. Oh, they get the Dolphins late in the year. They're 5-8. The Dolphins get hot. Uh, Tom Brady coming back to town to play the Niners. That's gonna be personal. 5-10. Just to make Niner fans mad again, they lose to the Seahawks 5-11. The Washington Commanders 6-11. Fuck. It all depends on how many fights are in the stadium and who wins these fights between the Niners and Raiders. I don't know what to tell you there.
I think the
That's a
Raiders get
toss-up.
that one. It's going to be at home.
I'm picking the Niners to go 6-11.
Looking at their schedule, there are some winnable games here, even though you see differently. I think they could definitely beat the. They could. I mean, come on now. They could beat the Seahawks. They have a good opportunity to beat the Broncos, who's a newer team with a new quarterback. They're not just gonna. I don't expect the Broncos to come out the gate on fire, although they could happen. I suspect, looking at these games, that the Niners will go. Let me do the math again. They will go 9-8. 9-8. Is that math right?
500? No.
9-8. Wait, no, it's 17 games. That's not right. Yeah, that is right. 9-8. God, look, why do we have to think about this? 9-8. There you go.
Because there's too many damn games.
Well, they added one more, and it screwed up everything. I'm so used to being able to say 8-8 and not, whatever. Anyway, so
Doug Hughes, you are on for this. He wants to bet me an adult beverage that the Niners finish with a better record than the Ravens. By all means, I will take that bet. Although I don't drink anymore, I will take a case of 7. I'll take a case of non-alcoholic. You're not going to win this bet anyways. Let's just be quite honest with that there. There's just too much turmoil right now to know. You don't know who your quarterback is now. You thought it was Trey Lance, but you couldn't get rid of Jimmy G, so now he's still with the roster. And you haven't signed Debo yet. And it's getting close to training camp.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something. They got to sign him. They got to give him the money.
At this point, they have to. They called his bluff, but now they're like, shit, now we got to pay him. So that's
we got that in. And Saito apparently is blaming Subway sandwiches for the Deebo Samuel situation. That's why the Niners couldn't trade Samuels. He went soft from too many Subway sandwiches. He got for free from Garoppolo. Wow.
Oh, Saito, lighten up the chat. Love you, everyone watching it. Thank you guys so much for.
How about this?
How
about this for a question?
What?
What can Garoppolo throw farther? A fully wrapped Subway sandwich or a football? That's what we really want to know.
He's never thrown a football 20 yards, so it
my money's on the sandwich.
He has so many passing yards because of those quick slants. That's it. B&T hard lemonade. I mean, we can slap.
Hey, were we branding? Oh wow! Is there a plug somewhere? Hook us up.
Plug on that one, please. Real quick, I just want to say this once because my boy is trying to get me to make this comment, so I'm gonna make it. You keep asking me to talk about UCLA, so here it is. UCLA is the worst fucking team, I'm sorry for my language, that was ever invented in the face of this earth here. You guys claim to play in the Rose Bowl. You guys rent it out until two good teams actually go play in the Rose Bowl in January. Okay? You guys suck. You guys promote your teams as being the best. You went to 3 NCAA Final Fours, didn't come out with one title. Just a waste of talent there. So no, I'm done with it. That's all I wanted to say. I love you like a brother, but man, does your college team suck? And the same can go for Michigan as well. So suck on that as well. Um, in any case, I had to get that out of my system. It was boiling my
Hey man,
blood there
wow.
for a little bit
Just
there.
want to dropping
Hey,
bombs.
I got a question for you, Tosh.
Yeah.
What's up with Nathan Peterman?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna hit on this for quite a little bit, and people watching this are probably like, "Why the hell are we talking about Nathan Peterman?" Well, here's why: because he's a sack of potato with legs, who can only throw passes to the other opponent. So I'm curious as to why he's still in the league. Does anyone know? Apparently, he's now with the Chicago Bears after being with the Raiders, which John Gruden wanted him to be a backup with the Raiders for some unknown reason. Now, in fairness, he was the third quarterback, but still, Nathan Peterman is best known for throwing 5 interceptions in the first half of his debut game with the Buffalo Bills. That's what he's known for. Career, here's his career stat, Brian. Wait for it.
Wait, hit it with me.
3 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's his career. How on earth is that person still playing football? Can anybody explain to me why Nathan Peterman is still in the NFL? It makes no sense whatsoever. No sense whatsoever. And I think the NFL should be sued. I should sue the NFL for taking because their vetting process to make sure NFL players can play the actual sport has failed them because they have people like this playing in the league. It's completely ridiculous. There must be at least 50 other guys who deserve a chance at playing football. It ain't Nathan Peter. It ain't Justin, Nathan, Uncle, I don't know, Peterman. He should not be in the league anymore. It's ridiculous. I had to rip on it. Don't ask me why. It's just been pissing me off this whole week. I just don't get it. The guy sucks. He's garbage. He's trash. He's the worst quarterback. He's Jamarcus Russell. Seriously, if I looked up Jamarcus Russell's numbers, they'd probably be pretty comparable to Nathan Peterman's. How in the world is he still playing football? How?
But here's the thing. Jamarcus Russell has more scissor drink than Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because the outcome's still the same. So what's Peterman's excuse? He ain't drinking scissor. What's his problem? He's colorblind. He can't see what uniform the other team's wearing.
Russell got caught with scissor, not Nathan Peterson. We don't know that he's drinking it yet, but we'll find out when he gets to Chicago.
Well,
dude, he got a $2 million contract with Chicago. How's that make you feel?
That's my point. What? What? That makes no sense. I'm sorry. I'm. There needs to be like a primetime special on that. We need to get some True TV. Somebody need to go investigate what he knows about the NFL. That he got some dirt on Roger Goodell to where Roger's like, look, man, we gonna keep giving this guy contracts because he saw me with the woman at the casino last year or something. I don't know, but it's ridiculous and it is in sports the most stupidest thing I've ever seen. And they need to fire him immediately, and I should sue the league because they obviously don't know what talent looks like. That's just stupid. So thank you for letting me get that out. I had to. It just was really bothering me. Let's move on to the next topic.
What's good, NorCal Sports Cards? What's good, my brother, man? I can't wait to watch the feed tonight. Hope you got some good rips happening here. Shout out to my brother, NorCal Sports Cards, all the way up near the Sac area. Love you like a brother, man. Looking forward to some big things with the sports cards that we got lined up here. So glad to have you a part of our chat here. But before we move to our top 5, Taj, we got to kind of get caught up on our chat here. Doug Hughes says Jimmy Garoppolo can throw a Subway sandwich further.
Yes.
So I think it's pretty.
But Victoria chimes in, neither. It's a stand-in catching it.
Now this is that stupid shovel pass that they do that for some reason counts as a pass.
Yeah. Well,
like, how does that count?
Well, we don't have to have anybody catch it. We just want to see how far he can throw it. Nobody has to catch it.
3 yards out.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Brian drank some haterade before the show. You damn right. I'll mention anything about LA and it's pure hatred here. Didn't the Raiders just trade for Stidham?
Yeah, yeah. We,
Uh,
we we like getting fleeced by the Patriots. I think it was the Patriots. Yeah. So we like. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. We're trading for.
it's because it was
That's
Josh McDaniels.
yeah. Oh my god. And I don't know how I feel about that yet, but we'll get into that later. Josh McDaniels, great.
They've been lame for years. UCLA would have had a hard time in Pop Warner football. Hey,
Damn,
so
that's right.
for people who don't know, UCLA's got a football field that's literally 80 yards. It's a full size football field, but they only built it for 80 yards. So all those smart ass people who go to UCLA didn't know how to design a field to make it a full 100 yards. It's only 80 yards now. So just just a little tidbit of
Damn, B, you
information here.
been man. That's some third degree hater right there. Well, you went and found details and data for it. That's crazy.
Dude, that's
How?
that's never left my brain since I found out about that, man. It's stuck with me here.
Saito
But
says, "How about Harding? Yeah, how about him? He might. Were we? Are we talking about throwing the Subway sandwich? I think Harden
yeah,
might be able to throw the football farther than Garoppolo. Now that we talking,
I mean, it's probably not. Why not? It's non-alcoholic. Oh, B&T hard lemonade, non-alcoholic. I like it.
there you go.
Um, all right, we like to do a top five, and so we've got a good one tonight, and we want to see your guys' top five as well with us here. But the top five NBA jerseys of all time here.
Yep.
There's no particular order. This is just our five favorite uniforms that we think are inside of that we feel are the best uniforms that ever been put out. So Taj, I'll let you start your list off
You
here.
start off.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm a big basketball guy, so I love the NBA. So I gotta go and find some uniforms. I thought just the kind when you were a kid in high school you just want to put on because you was like, man, this look good. You know what I mean? And
oh,
rock it with your favorite.
every single uniform known of mankind
That's
from the
There you
mall.
go. Rock it with your favorite Jordans or whatever. However you decide to dress. Maybe you want to put Birkenstocks on with your jersey. I don't know. That's what they're doing in San Francisco now. Warrior fans. Anyway, so let's getting back to this part. Getting back to some.
Uh,
So I'm gonna start off with number one, the Lakers City Edition jersey, and that's because it's the black and the gold. I love that combination. Used to always love when they used to sport those jerseys. So that's my number one, Lakers City Edition. And then the next one is one of my favorite because I just like this combination of color, and that's the pinstripe Charlotte Hornets jersey. It has the nice baby blue with the white baby blue Charlotte embroidered on the top of it. It's just something about them uniforms, with the pinstripes that get me. I like the pinstripes; those are nice.
I want to touch base on that because I was talking to my sister about this. There's something about powder blue uniforms
Yes,
that are that
they
they
pop.
pop.
There you
They
go.
pop.
They pop. You got that nice clean white with the little lines of the blue on, man. I'm telling you, people gonna see you from a mile away. So yes, they pop. Um,
I agree.
and then I'm gonna go a little different here. I'm gonna go with the Miami Vice Heat jersey. Okay, for people who haven't seen it, it's the black with the pink, the black with the flamingo. The black with the flamingo pink. The neon flamingo pink in it looks great. Really like it. I think it's different. I like black jerseys, so it ties in with that too. And I like when people do different stuff with jerseys. It's nice to go out there. And for those who don't know, the Heat are always doing weird stuff with their jersey. Okay, they used to have the big solid stripes on the side, or the ones with the weird. It would say Heat, but each one of the letters was like different font and some. Yeah, they always doing something weird with their jerseys. But I really like that particular jersey.
Gosh, this is how I feel about that Miami Heat uniform. Shoot them all up. That thing was fucking terrible.
Man, you going,
Doug,
man, you just gonna shoot my. That's rude, man. You gonna pull out
Doug,
the effects on me, man.
I need your NBA college uniforms. That may be something we discuss. But all right, number three was Miami. Give me your other two.
All right, so we got the town jersey for the Warriors. I'm an Oakland native. It took the Warriors 30 years or 40 years or 50 years to finally put town on there with the oak tree on there. I wish they had did it when they were actually in Oakland. That would have been a little bit nicer. But they abandoned Oakland and went to San Francisco and decided they wanted to be all about Oakland all of a sudden. That's real cute. Anyway, so we're gonna move on to the Sonics. So we're gonna move on to the Seattle Supersonics jersey. Gotta give, that's just more of an ode to the Seattle Supersonics, one of my favorite teams with Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. They had some nice little teams. I used to love to watch them play. Had the nice little white stripe with the green white stripe with the yellow around it, going all the way around the front to the back. Just a nice, real nice jersey you could put on today, and really will let folks know that you're a for real basketball NBA fan, because these new booty people don't know about the Supersonics. They don't know. Anyway,
I like that. I'll give you another cheers for that one. That was a good top five. Let me give you my five here. I'm gonna go with my first one here. The Utah Jazz, the purple uniforms with the mountains in the background. There was something about it.
Oh, man, okay.
I really enjoyed those ones for sure. It was a nice little contrast there. I think it was very interesting. But it was one of those uniforms that was just like, you looked at it and was like, that's actually not too bad. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know how I felt about the mountains, man, but the one thing I will say is you definitely knew who they were. That's for sure. And what I'd like to point out,
purple people eaters were out.
there you go. And the weirdness of the Utah Jazz and the fact that they have mountains, but they're called the Jazz, that always weirded me out. And that's only because, for folks who don't know, they used to be in New Orleans. So that's why they originally were called the Jazz, because of jazz music. However, the name stuck, much like the Lakers, the name stuck, but the terrain changed. So so whatever. Same thing with the Lakers, though, where there are no lakes, because obviously they were Lakers because they were in Minneapolis.
I'm surprised you didn't go with that. That was a powder blue.
Yeah, the MLPS. Yeah. But yeah, keep going, Brian. Sorry, want to interrupt you with some granddad history lessons. Go ahead.
The second one I have on my list here were the Raptor jerseys with the actual Velociraptor playing basketball.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Era,
Duncan.
Those
yep.
were, and they even the pinstripes
they
on
did.
some of them as well. That was dope. The silver pinstripes with the purple jersey.
Yep.
I like that. That was dope. Number 3, it is a two-way tie with the Oakland jersey. The one the Warriors wore back in 2009, the white with the orange writing that said Warriors on it, but then they switched it when they played their last game in Oracle to Oakland, and then last year when they did the City edition with the Oakland that paid tribute to that We Believe era here. So those jerseys were clean. My last two end with pinstripes here. The first one I'm going with is the Rockets, the old school Rockets jersey with the pinstripes, with that had the rocket going up in the air.
Yep. Stevie franchise.
Franchise.
That's
and
right.
Yao Ming.
Yep.
Those were some dope jerseys there. My fifth jersey here, I think everyone can agree. The Chicago Bulls, the black jersey
with the stripes. Yeah, that's iconic. Yep.
That's just something that you don't forget about. That's an iconic NBA jersey there. With all the jerseys that have been out, I love the way that NBA does their jerseys. You just can't beat that one. Like I really wish the Bulls would bring that back.
They should.
When they go to New York, because that was one of the big moments for Michael Jordan, was wearing that black jersey in the Garden. So
yeah.
Like to hear everyone's top 5 uniforms as far as NBA goes. Doug, not college, NBA, to see what you guys think. You could stick to your home team. You could stick to, just a jersey that pops out to you. Like I said, I bet you no one thought I would like a Utah Jazz jersey with mountains on it, but that's just my thing.
There you go. Or me a Charlotte jersey. Right.
Powder blue. That's just something about it. The St. Louis Cardinals wore powder blue against the Giants. I was just hyped. Them uniforms are clean.
Yeah, man.
They clean.
Hey.
They clean.
Hey, Pop. How you see it?
But I think that's going to put a bow on it tonight.
Yeah, that's
great show.
That's it. So I think that's all we got. So again, want to thank everybody for sticking with us. Our chat is becoming just like its own monster, which I am enjoying seeing. So
Absolutely.
Continue to keep that coming for us. We enjoy the interaction. We enjoy being able to field questions or find out that you kissed James Harden in Houston some time ago, whatever happened, and we all of this stuff we really really enjoy. So we enjoy it. Oh man.
Everyone, and thank you for making this a fun time for us on Sunday nights to be a part of. So,
all right,
conference finals. Man.
I know it's gonna be good. So we're gonna have some game 2s and 3s to talk about next time we come on next Sunday. So we look forward to being with y'all next Sunday. And drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you know somebody that enjoys sports at the job, at the grocery store, wherever you are, let them know they need to be listening to us. All right. So we
Sure,
appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Have a good night, T.
All right.